struggling out there with your finances, she uses her social media to make creative posts on how you can, save and invest and what to look out for when you're investing and stuff like that. She has a platform which is to educate and inspire people to be on top of their personal finance game. And she works in a financial institution. She's married with 2 kids. Hello, Mommy. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. Can I say thank you? First of all, we're supposed to have her last week, but of course, due to some technical issues, we're unable to, and she was gracious enough to actually reschedule and, of course, come on the show with me today. So I really, really appreciate your Mommy for your patience and for your graciousness. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, I'm sure, your CV itself speaks a lot about you, and it's phenomenal. I was telling them about how, from your CV, it looks like you think money, you are money, and you're constantly thinking finances, and that's phenomenal. We know you studied accountancy and all of that. How much longer before that did you realize you really loved talking about finances or money?
Okay. Right from school, because I graduated from a Covenant University, and I've always been an accountant. Let me put it this way: my mom is an accountant, so it's an accountant family.
It's in the genes.
So it's in the genes. So money is everything that we do and talk about in the house growing up. So my mom is a very disciplined finance person. So it's just in it that I take up from her.
Okay, that's phenomenal. So were there things you were taught when you were younger? For example, I'm a parent. I'm often thinking about how I can teach my children good money culture. Were there things that you were taught when you were younger that you would advise parents to teach their children so that when they are older, they can have a good relationship with money?
Okay, so one of the things you would like to teach your children is you can't always have everything you want. You can't always have everything.
Right.
And then you need to begin to plan for your money. So, for example, your child wants ice cream, for example.
Yeah.
You don't have to give that child that ice cream at that time. So you teach your child delay gratification. Even though I want,
if you can afford it.
Yes, exactly. Even if I can afford ice cream now, do I really need ice cream right now? So you have to teach your children delay gratification. No, not today. We can do ice cream some other time.
Absolutely, and that's such a strong message to send to them. Also, that you don't just go into your purse and just remove money.
Absolutely.
You plan. So for today, if ice cream was not part of my plan, and you're just dumping at me for ice cream. When I give it to you next year, see what I can just absolutely fantastic, and I'm definitely going to do more of that. There are certain messages we send to our children. We're not necessarily saying something, but what we do is a big message on its own. So thank you very much for that, woman. I'm sure parents will run off to that. But before you run off, everyone, or if you're listening right now, we're talking about diversifying our personal finances. We've talked about how just today I was reading about how gas, the rising cost of gas, for example. In most households in Nigeria, you find that quite a number of people use gas. So for if gas, even in the eateries where you go and eat and stuff like that, so it will affect everybody. Now, before we talk about our personal finances, let's talk about Nigeria's personal finances, because at the end of the day, what happens in Nigeria inadvertently affects us. We've seen people, different thought leaders, have ideas as to what the government can do to better the economy. You personally, Omomi, as someone who's financially inclined, what are the steps? Are there any thought leaders' opinion that you agree with that the government could actually take on board to steer this economy in the right direction?
Okay. First thing is, one of the things that they are doing wrong that I find very, very, very amusing is we are continuing to increase the cost of debt. Every day we are increasing our debt. And then our income in terms of importation or the exportation rather is not increasing. That is the revenue that we're generating from oil is not increasing. And we're increasing.
Okay, you're breaking up a little, so I'm not sure if that's from our end or from your end.
Okay, can you hear me properly now?
Okay, yes.
Yes, I was saying that the government should look inward to continue to increase the revenue. One of the things we can increase the revenue is support agriculture. I mean, I'm a believer that agriculture has so much potentials that we are not exploring. Ronke, you agree with me? If you travel from Lagos to Ibadan, you would see a lot of land that are not being cultivated. And then we are rich in food. We are rich in resources. I mean, our sweet potato variance is unique. If we can only just unearth that aspect of our economy.
Hello, mommy.
Yes.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you now. We lost you there a bit.
Okay. I said if we can increase, if government can increase and pay more attention to agriculture, we would increase our revenue. We wouldn't need to borrow.
Right, and that was the plan at some point. I remember diversifying the economy became such a cliche because they said it would diversify agriculture. Yes, I know banditry and all of that and stuff, because I know quite a number of people who did go into agriculture, because it felt like the government was encouraging more people to do so. But I mean, how far has that gone now? It feels like I said, it was just a cliche, diversifying to agriculture, not being so dependent on oil. How far have we gone with that now?
In terms of government support, I can see that they are trying to encourage a lot of people to go into agriculture, but in terms of security, are they providing the security for farmers? And I mean, you read a lot of story, people being kidnapped from their farms.
Yeah.
We're not looking at, the government is not looking at that. In terms of
beyond just saying,
just people going into agriculture, are you giving them the right support? Money is not everything, so just not just the finance, but in terms of infrastructure, in terms of security, in terms of logistics. I mean, transporting those finished products to the final consumer. I mean, it's important. So how is the government supporting people to move their goods from their farms to final consumers like us? I mean, that is one of the reasons why goods are increasing, because by the time you factor in the cost of moving your product from your farm, you contend with bad roads, you contend with a lot of people harassing you for your produce. I mean,
lack of electricity.
Exactly. Storage. So yes. So there's a whole lot to consider. So by the time a farmer considers all of that cost, the price would increase, and everybody is in business to make profit. So what we see is the cost is being passed to us, and that's why we are seeing the rise in cost of services and goods.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that one. Now, coming to, I mean, at the end of the day, all the things that we've listed now, was the farmer now, or was the person who's selling now decide to raise their prices, which is happening all across, the country. And that's why we're complaining about the rising cost of beans, which was at one time people used to snub beans, and now it feels like, I mean, the poor man cannot even eat beans in Nigeria, and so now, I mean, looking at our personal finances now, I talked earlier before you came on about how someone could be earning 500,000 naira a month, and still it would still just not be enough. People like that are still complaining in this our economy, where there are people who are earning about 50K, as salary, and they are sort of making it work. They are, making ends meet. All right, so let's talk about diversifying as a personal. What are the advice that you give, for somebody in this economy who's earning, let's not even start talking about minimum wage now, but who just feels like their money is just not, they're not making ends meet? What's the first advice that you give?
The first advice I would give to that person is you need to be able to plan your finances. Regardless of your income, whether you're earning the minimum wage or you're earning a million or you're earning, if you don't plan it, you will not be able to diversify your finances. That's just the truth. So personal finance planning is key. One of the second thing the person would do is expense planning. So you know what your expenses are.